But this is when you find out what you're made of right here, y'all. This is when you find out, you know, where you stack up. You know, this is where you find out everything that you need to find out. Are you going to be able to stay in business? You know, if we have a month-long drought, a lot of guys can't even, you know, they're going to be looking crazy. For me, it ain't going to be good, but I will survive. But there was a time when a month-long drought would really break the bank. I don't know, man. I ain't liking it for sure. Not at all. A little uneasy about it. Not scared or nothing, because, you know, at the end of the day, we're going to do the best that we can do based on what we are working with. You know, as long as I know that, then that's all I can do anyway. So we're going to dominate what we're in control of. And what we're not in control of, we're going to have to adjust to. So. What's today? Today's Thursday. Today's Toby's birthday. So yeah, he's getting older. Yeah, that. So today we have we just got a little bit of work we're gonna do. We're just trying to kind of slow road and get through this dry spot. Instead of taking days off or whatever, we're doing all the jobs that I've had backed up, you know, that are not mowing. That makes sense. Let me make sure that my damn tailgate is closed. Yeah. We're doing the jobs now that has been, well, these are things that we do every year anyway, but usually we're having a, you know, we have to do a few lawns along with it. So we're going from, you know, making $800 a day to like $500 a day. That's not real good, man. It's covering everything, but I ain't making nothing. I'm not gonna be able to stack money like that, you know. I want to be able to stack money like I always talk about. You know, it's hard to stack like that. By now, y'all have seen the little video where I got the auger bit fixed. So I just randomly called the welder in my city right here, like a mile from my house. And the dude answered the phone. I said, hey man, you're a welder? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, yeah. I said, can you weld cast? He's like, yeah. I said, okay, where are you at? And he told me. I'm like, damn. I said, damn dude, you're a half a mile from me. He said, you want to bring it over here now? I can do it now. And I'm like, what? I'm like, okay. So this is like 6 o'clock last night. So I jumped in the truck and headed over there, going to take care of business, right? So I get over there, and the dude's cool dude, definitely qualified. So had the big welder and everything. So he did it, and so I asked him. I said, so how much is this gonna cost me, man? This is after he was about done. He said, man, how about $60? I said, I like 80, and I gave him 80. So if you want to keep guys like that, you don't want them, you want them to want to do work for you. And he did that shit on the spur of the moment, like, and, you know. So I thought that was a pretty good deal. I was thinking like, you know, 100 and a quarter or something like that. But he made a quick $80 in less than an hour. So, and it looked like it's a pretty good job. Of course I haven't used it or nothing, but it looked as good as the weld that was on there, even better. I like it, but you know, we won't know until we actually use it, so we'll see. Anyway, we got to go over here to the gated community over here. We're gonna do the bushes at one of my regular properties. And we're going to do the yard. It's not, I mean, it's looking bleak, man. and I know a lot of you, I'm not the only one feeling it in my area. Because if I'm not cutting a lot of grass, then ain't nobody else around here cutting a lot of grass either. I don't care what they say. They ain't no, people don't pay to have, not to have the, I mean, people don't pay for you to come run the lawnmower over the grass. They'll do it to a certain extent, but they ain't gonna do it hardcore. You might get away one trip, in my customers, I'm not talking about nobody else, but my customers. And for me, I don't even want to do it if it don't need it. I don't want to run the equipment if it don't need it. And that might not be the best business strategy or whatever. But I don't like wasting time doing things that don't need doing in any way, work or whatever. But that's the reason why I didn't get to edit the video last night. I did it this morning, was because I was fooling with that auger bit and took it over there to get it fixed. I brought these right here today. This thing right here is pretty freaking handy to have. Right, that thing's so little it ain't gonna do nothing. Yeah, but it's perfect for reaching up in trees, and not trees, but shrubs and stuff, and cutting the you know, all the briars and stuff that try to grow in the bushes. So on that little thing that happened yesterday morning, I talked to my insurance company, and they told me not to even worry about it. They said, based on what I'm telling them, that they wouldn't pay it no way. And I don't blame them. So I don't know why I wasn't a little more proactive yesterday when it happened. I was just kind of well, I was in shock almost, if you will. I had a guy on a job waiting on me. A lot of things going on in my head that I didn't want to argue with them about it out there. I had shit I had to do, you know. But after, you know, today, and after thinking about it for a minute for the day, I came to realize by the time I got home, I'm like, man, there ain't no freaking way I'm paying that. Ain't no way. Popeye is a punk if I pay that lady. I'm not paying. I'm not even in the truck. There ain't no way my truck lunged forward without somebody being in the truck, locked in park. And you know all that happened because, well, I got the keys with me, and the truck ain't gonna lock if it ain't in park, and the key ain't in the, you know, you can't lock, you can't set the alarm in the truck with the truck in drive or neutral or whatever. I don't think, but it ain't gonna lock. How would I lock it? Because the key would be in the ignition. So I don't know why I didn't think about all that. It was just happened. It's just so out of you know, the norm for me, that I didn't even know how to react to that crap. But I don't know what we're going to do once we can do all these other little jobs, you know, these little bush jobs and stuff. We'll do some stuff around the house, and we'll hope and pray for some rain. All we need is, you know, a good day of rain, and that'll really help, you know, get things back to growing again. Ain't nothing you can do. Ain't a whole lot to talk about either, man. How you know, what are you doing to make money if you ain't mowing this time of year, you know? But we'll get through this weekend, and we'll just have to see what's up. I mean, sometimes, you know, there's a blessing somewhere in this, you know, for a guy like me anyway. Considering I got a skid steer, it might force me to step outside my comfort zone a little bit, you know. Because right now, we're mowing away. I mean, we're mowing, y'all know, we're mowing yards every freaking day, a lot of them. But without that, we're having to do something, so it might push me toward more skid steer work, or, you know, push me to advertise more. Yeah. I don't know, man. I ain't liking it for sure. Not at all. A little uneasy about it. Not scared or nothing, because, you know, at the end of the day, we're going to do the best that we can do based on what we are working with. You know, as long as I know that, then that's all I can do anyway. So we're going to dominate what we're in control of. And what we're not in control of, we're going to have to adjust to. So That's the way I look at it. I used to back in the day when I you know, the first 4 or 5 years, something like this would really scare me. It would. But of course, back then I didn't have the expenses I have now. I got a lot more expenses now than I had back in year 3. You know. You do. We'll get over here. I don't know how much footage I'm gonna get today. I might not even get a lot of footage, man. Because, well, these fit folks over here, they're a little bit funny about the camera. But what are you guys doing? Especially you guys that are in Georgia. I know there's a few folks that come in the comments that's actually in my state, in Georgia. What are you guys doing if you're you know, in this mini drought we're in? I was just, you know, I don't know what everybody else does. What do y'all do? That's a lot of reasons why I save work, you know, rat hole work. You know, it ain't because, well, it ain't because we don't want to do the work. It's just because we don't have time. And I'm always trying to scratch and claw at the schedule, see about how much time, you know, find time to do these bushes and the job we did yesterday and all that. And I ain't looking forward to doing none of this. Now this is a part of the lawn landscape that I don't like. So I don't like this part of it. I don't like doing bushes every day. Why is that, Ray? Pays good. Yeah, it does. I'd rather sit on a machine and let the machine do all the work, all the heavy lifting. When you're doing bushes and stuff, we're doing the heavy lifting. We're having to, and it takes time, and it's hot, you know, all that there. So there ain't no telling what we're gonna get into over here today. We're limited though on what we can do. You know, we're not gonna be hauling nothing out of here, not today. Not unless she's just, you know, insistent on it. And Toby have to do all that. I ain't going to the dump, none of that shit. I'm just trying to creep out and make a few $100s and creep back in. And just don't let nothing break. Right now, at a time like this, you don't want anything to break because you're chasing freaking money that you need or think you need, or, you know, just to keep things going. I'm not going to take a huge hit. I'll take a hit, but I'm not going to take a huge hit on my efficiency and all that. Right now, because if we break something or something breaks that's again not in our control, and I end up having to pay, you know, money to fix something, plus I got to pay my guy, plus I got to pay all the stuff I always pay. And not a problem if we're earning, you know, $800 or $900 every day, but it becomes a problem when we're earning $400 or $500 a day. And it's going to get lower and lower. You know, I got a few jobs that you know, we can go do one skid steer job, and that'll be like 3 days of mowing. You know, something like that, 2.5 days of mowing. So, and I got a little skid job that we can do over the weekend. Again, as far as the commercials, the same commercial people I did the work for yesterday. I don't know what you guys would have charged for that job that we did yesterday, but I charged him $500. I don't know if that's a lot or a little. We was over there for 2 guys. I kind of based it like this, you know. We were over there for about 3.5 to 4 hours, and the way I did it yesterday in my head, not to them, well, is I just said $75 an hour for each man, right? So I don't know if that's good or bad or a lot or a little. I don't normally like to charge things like that, but with them and for that job, You have to, because if I just go over there and say, yeah, $500, he'd be like, $500 to clean that little bitty ass property up, Ray? Come on, man. You ain't got to haul nothing off. You ain't got to do this. You ain't got to do. Yeah, but at the end of the day, we spent 4 hours over there for sure. You know, we actually was over there longer than that, but we wasn't hard working the whole time. We took a couple breaks. It's hot. And then I had to deal with the neighbor too. So dealing with the neighbor really is gonna set things up for me to get more work over there, because the neighbor's gonna be calling, because when all that stuff starts dying that I cut, it's gonna fall right down on her side. And she's gonna be calling the owner. And me and her kind of we've talked, and I told her, I said, look, the owner over here is not going to want to spend like you know, like you might think he would want to. I said, you're going to have to help me push him to do what needs to be done, because the owner ain't even been over there to the property. He has no idea how invasive that muscadine vine done got on her side. He has no idea. And the only way he'll know, not from the contractor telling him, because I got skin in the game, because you got to pay me to do the work, but because the homeowner calls him, the neighbor calls him, and keeps complaining to him, he'll send me back over there to do blah, blah, blah. You know, yesterday he wanted to, you know, when she called him, he wanted to flip the script on me. Our job over there yesterday was just to do the front of the house. You know, rip out a few bushes, cut some stuff down, and I had the Lowe's. That's what I went to Lowe's for, was to buy a couple bales of pine straw, because I wanted it to look nice, because you can't make it look nice if you can't put no consistency on the ground after you do all that. So, but there's nothing like the neighbor calling the owner, and I didn't give the neighbor his phone number. She already had it. Cahoots with him from the years that he's on the property. I mean, you know, if we just go in there one day and like if he would just say, Ray, take the man lift over there and I'll give you $1,000. Make that property where I don't have the neighbor complaining to me no more, right? And we're not talking about some Johnny homeowner. We're talking about a $1 million investment group. So, which $1 million these days ain't a lot of money, really. It ain't, you know. A lot of money to me, maybe a lot of money to you too. The guys, you know, most of the guys that watch my channel, $1 million is a lot of money to me. But yeah, hang tight. How you been? Hot as crap out here. She's been here since I've been doing this. So I got Toby already over here. We're only going to do the one property. The other old man over here, he called me night before last and said, we're not going to need it this week. And I said, well, y'all ain't paid me for the last week. They went out of the country. They went to Spain or somewhere in South Africa. And you know, you try and I'm telling him, well, y'all didn't pay me for the 6th. Yeah, we went out of town on the 28th, and we just got back yesterday. And I'm like, okay. He said, send that Zelle request again, and we'll check our records. And I'm like, okay, you know. And my thinking was like, you know, y'all are worried about $150 when you're on freaking Spain and South African trips, you know, flying all over the world actually, and you're worried about, you know, my little $150. Yeah, I was like, man, come on, dude. So this was like 3 days ago, Monday or so, and so I sent him the Zelle request. I ain't heard nothing, and now I'm fixing to be over here, but we're not doing his property. They got the money and they'll pay, but you know, when some of these customers get a little bit older, they start, you know, they might have, you know, dementia issues and stuff like that. You never know. You just never know, man. You know, right? You just never know. So we're gonna have to cut all these bushes. They're looking bad. She was right, you know. But I'd rather do that now, right? while it's, I want to do it now while we ain't got nothing else to do. Nothing else. It's not going to require me to, you know, these are jobs that that we would normally do anyway. Like I would normally do the bushes and everything that we're going to do over here today. I would normally do all of that, and just like today. But like I'll probably, yeah. I don't know how much footage I'm gonna be able to get over here, y'all. But I ain't in no hurry to do nothing, man. My enthusiasm is gauged by how much money I'm making. And I ain't making shit, y'all. I ain't making nothing. Yesterday, with the work that we did, I might have been able to put, you know, after I pay everything, I might have been able to put $175 in the bank, you know. Of course, I got to wait on that money too. And it's starting to get a little bit confused, but she's not cutting me a check as I'm sending the invoices. I send an invoice then for the rotation of what we do for, you know, the lawns and all. And I'm not worried about them paying, but it creates a lot of complications for me when they don't pay before I do the next rotation. Because when I do the next rotation, it tries to throw up my software, and I don't know how to fix it. My software throws it on the same invoice. So I might send them an invoice. We'll say I sent him an invoice last week for the work that we did the previous rotation. Well, he hasn't paid that invoice yet. He's received it, but he hasn't signed the check yet. So in my software, I don't mark it as being paid. You know, and if I don't mark it as being paid and we're back on the rotation again, then what it does, it adds to that existing invoice automatically. So then, so what I've been having to do, which I never like doing, I hate doing this, is what I'm having to do is when I give them the invoice, when I turn the invoice in for them, into them, before I do the properties again, I go on and mark him paying me. And see, that can create some problems. You know, if something were to happen to me, nobody would freaking know that. Yeah. So today's Toby's birthday, man. I'm gonna give him $100, man, for his birthday. I basically am just gonna, you know, tell him just not to pay on the car this week. You know, he's paying on the Kia, and I'm just gonna tell him, look, man, don't worry about making that payment on the Kia this week, and that'll save him. He's been paying like $100 a week, you know, just to. He don't owe that much more on it, really. He only owes like, you know, I don't even know, man. I have to look. But the way my software is invoicing stuff, it ain't cool, man, because what it'll do, it'll keep the invoice going, and then when I mark paid, it shows that this crazy number. I don't even understand it, man. So to minimize, we always, me, hopefully you too, we always want to make it easy to get paid. I do. And I always want to make it super simple to read the invoices and everything. That's just me. Now, I know there's a lot of people that know a lot more than I know, but I've been in business a long time. And somehow, some way, I have been able to manage, you know, with a lot less, with a lot more headache, a lot more worry, a lot less customers, a lot more overhead. You know, my overhead now is steady. You know, so my overhead is well, as far as the lawn maintenance goes, my overhead is less. The only overhead that I've really gotten that I didn't have last year is the skid steer. But like right now, I'm so glad that paid up until September. I keep going back to that, but that's critical. You know, when you're in business for yourself and there's a lot of unknowns. Well, Ray, I wouldn't have done that, man. You might need that money. I might, but I have to figure it out because that money's gone. But one thing I won't have to worry about is making a skid steer payment. So, in every job I do between now and August, say, I can put all that money is all going in my bank, right? And I'm not having to make a payment. So then come August, what I'll do when we'll do you know, once I determine everything, then come August or whatever, then I'll start making the skid steer payments for September, October, November, December. I don't want to do that now, especially not now. Normally I would already be working toward that, but we got this drought, so I want to hold some money up. I don't want to spend any money on anything that I don't have to right at this moment. Now that could change if a deal comes along. That's different. I always got rainy day deal money. Always, you know. Like if somebody came to me and said, "Hey man, I got a brand new something, and I'll give it to you for, you know, 40% off or something," I'll do it, right? I got a guy right now, a buddy of mine, that has a big enclosed trailer. I think he said it's 20 foot. I don't know, but he doesn't know the capacity of it. He's told me he'd sell it to me for $5,000, and it's new. He said, dude, we only bought that, and he's got, you know, he's got money. He says, dude, we only bought this trailer to move my mom, and we moved her, and now the trailer's been sitting, and it ain't old and raggedy looking either. It's white. It ain't got no markings on it, man. The only thing I like about an enclosed trailer, and I know you guys I've talked to you guys about enclosed trailers before, is I like to be able to put the signage on it. And I don't do a lot of signage stuff. I never have, and that's not because I don't want to. It's because I never had enough help to be able to take care of work that would come up. That makes sense. You know, if you put a signage out there on the side of a trailer and you start getting a bunch of calls in the past, I'd be in trouble because we were having a hard enough time just doing the lawns that we already had, right? But I mean, and my buddy, he owns an irrigation business right here in my city. He's a pretty big outfit, and whenever it starts drying like it is now, his business is booming, and my business is dropping. So, you know, he's wanting to sell me the trailer because he don't really want to fool with it, and he says, look man, just go down there and get it, man, you know, and just pay me, you know, give me $5,000 for it. And I know that the trailer costs more than that, but he doesn't know. His brother bought it, brand new, got the paperwork and everything, brand new, a 20-foot enclosed trailer, 7 foot wide, 20 foot long. But I don't know what size axles are on it, and if there's only 3,500 pound axles on it, I wouldn't even think about buying it, no matter what, because you can't, you know, I need 5,000 pound axles on it if I buy it, and I may buy it, and if it's a good deal, I may buy it and flip it, because if it's a $8,000 trailer and I can get it for $5,000, and then I can turn around and sell it for $7,000, I can make a $2,000 profit. I'll do that all day long, and I do. And you know, whenever we start, this is the signs, y'all, that you's a hustler, okay? That you really are a hustler. Whenever there's a lapse in work like we're going through now with the dry weather and everything, my brain automatically goes to other things that I can do to make money. Maybe not exactly what I want to do, but money making things nonetheless, right? So I'm always thinking like that. Now, as long as we're mowing grass every 2 weeks and we ain't got you know, a lot of overhead and we're getting rain and everything, then I don't have time to do too much thinking outside of that. I hate to keep talking about it, man, but this is a pretty serious right here. If you're in business and you do what I do, it's pretty serious business right here. You could go bankrupt if you ain't set up right with weather like this. And for you young guys that are in the game, that are starting out in the game, especially if you don't went out and bought, you know, big boy equipment. That's why I always say, don't buy brand new equipment when you first start. Kind of build up and everything. You know, of course, you can't never foresee the weather being dry, but you gotta be aware of things that can go wrong. The weather being dry is right up there with well, a major piece of equipment breaking down, because you can lose a lot of money really fast and you can never get it back. Never. So we got a lot to do over here. See, you know, here I am, I'm gonna make, you know, $150 today. You know, I ain't trying to really, but I wonder what guys do, and I'd be curious, any of you guys that are watching the channel, undercover, you know, like, what are the guys that own the Augusta franchise, what do they do? You know, so they're mostly mowing, right? What do they do when they got 6 employees? Could you imagine, you know, having 5 or 6 employees and having to pay them right now? That's what makes me scared to scale. And maybe I'm wrong for that, but you know, I believe in safe bets, calculated gambles, you know, and informed decisions. That's what I believe in. You can't make this shit up, man. I mean, it's so crazy. You know, I finally found a good guy that works good, that I really like having out here. I'm very comfortable with him. We get along great. He doesn't mind working. He understands the flow, and he you know, he's really by far the best employee I've ever had. And, you know, I've been through all these years with all these J's and alcoholics and junkies out here, and I made a living. And, you know, even though this year payroll is not costing me as much thus far as it was last year at this time, because last year at this time I had Zach and Francisco. And having Zach and Francisco out here, it was costing me more money. Now, of course, I paid Toby more, but rarely would Zach get more than $100. Rarely, you know. And Francisco was getting like 120 a day. Of course, a day is 1:30, 2 o'clock, you know. So last year I had, you know, approximately $250, we'll say, each day in labor. But the thing that we're not doing any more properties this year than we were last year. So the bottom number is even better because of what I got to pay for. I don't have to pay for Francisco. So I'm giving Toby like $140, $150 a day on the lawn stuff. We get on a skid steer job where I'm making, you know, $1,000 or more. You know, I'll give him a couple $100 for the day. And it seems to be working out pretty good until now. Because see, now we're not making any money on the lawn, so all the $800 that we did in an hour and a half the other day, I'm going to end up having to use that money. This is just kind of how I think. I'm going to end up having to use that money to make the payroll this week. And if you can do one job and make payroll for the whole week, that's great. But if you can do one job to make payroll for the week and you don't do anything else that's, you know, that's generating, you know, more than $200 or $300, then that's all you're covering is your payroll. And we're doing a little bit better than that, but if we don't get no rain, it's going to end up being a lot worse. And it's going to be prepared, you guys that are living around me. Be prepared, because if it doesn't get better, it's going to be like diving off a cliff. And what you got to do, you got to be kind of diplomatic with your customers, I think. Now, and this is not some guy that just started out last year. You know, I've been in business a long time, and I kind of understand how the customers think. When I was younger in the game, I didn't understand how the customers, you know, it was this and this and that, and that was what it was, because I did not know how to. Good googly goo. What the hell? Damn. Y'all know how it is. You get up in these neighborhoods, man, these people are walking around. Golly, you know, I see why she's living in $1 million house. But if we can just, you know, not spend, you know, I know people say, well, you need to get out there and hustle and make money. We are, but sometimes you get out there hustling and trying to make money, you start hustling backwards in situations like this. I don't want to go anywhere where it's going to cost me as much to go there and do the work as I'm making. And I don't want to go on a 10 route lawn route and only be able to do 3 properties. I don't want to do that. I'd rather skip it all, because it's costing me. And true enough, you can't get that money back. But if you're not banking your money as a business owner, then you, I mean, weather like we're having now could force you to lay people off. And see, I don't live in that world. The way I'm looking at it is my business is going to support me and Toby. That's the way I'm looking at it. Whatever that is, as long as he's dedicated and loyal and in it with me, then that's how it's going to be. I'll use the proceeds from the business to pay him no matter what. Now we're going to try to find work, and we're going to do things around my house that I need to get done too. When things get, but I never want to do anything that doesn't generate money during the summer. I don't want to do it unless I don't have any other thing to do, and I still got to pay out. I don't mind paying Toby. I don't mind, and but no matter how much money I have in a business account, no matter how much money, you know, I'm making or not, you have to stay consistent with paying the help. But if I had 5 guys or 4 guys, true enough, I'd have more money banked up, maybe, right? But I'd have to let somebody go. I mean, or 2, if it were that situation right now. If I had 2 guys out here right now, one of them have to go, and then that creates some problems. I don't want Toby to be worried about his job, no matter what. If we go a month without working at all, I'm still going to pay him. He's going to make enough to. He might not make what he makes now, but it's going to be enough for where he's not looking for another job. And the bad thing about it is, for him, is if we don't get no rain, ain't no other landscaper going to hire nobody either. So if that's the case, then you're really in trouble. You know, so for Toby, I just want him to just keep coming to work and help me, right, keep my expenses down. So he may have to take a little hit too, right? And that's okay, as long as it doesn't undermine his, you know, what it costs for him to live. But he may have to help me take, you know, on some of this stuff, on some of the not having work. Like, you know, hey man, he might have to take a hit on pay. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, and just like I'm having to. Of course, if a guy goes through that with me, right, then there is a connection there that the owner, single owner here, and I would imagine other owners would feel the same way if they're, you know, just having a small outfit like me. If he goes through that with me, and there's not, you know, and there's no, you know, no backlash from him or anything, where, you know, he starts crying about how much money he's making, when clearly he can see that we're not working, making money either. The employee's got to see that. So, yeah. Anyway, if he goes through that with me, then when things pick back up, I'll break bread, just like I do now, right? So that's what we're gonna do. I'm fixing to grab my the hedge trimmers, and I'm fixing to get to it over here. Y'all see them? They're right here, man. Look at these are pretty sweet to have. I gotta say, they're not hardly practical for every bush job, but they're good for certain ones, and they're kind of expensive too. I told Toby I wasn't working hard today. He knows it. I'm gonna do what I always do on the bushes over here. I'm gonna do these ones out by the road, and then this will be the second time Toby's done the bushes over here, so he ought to be a lot more familiar with how I go down. The biggest thing over here is the cleanup, which is, you know, it's like that on every job. Okay, y'all, so I'm pulling up to the house. I got my Sammy. Just a couple real quick things. You know, filling in when we're not cutting grass, it's one thing, but I tell you, it's a lot harder work. I feel like I'm working like I used to when I was, you know, in the beginning. You know, I mean, you know, it's doable. It ain't my favorite though, I will say. It's certainly not my favorite, but it's manageable for now. And you know, you just do what you have to do to keep the money rolling in. Normally we would be doing all the yards, and then we would slide this kind of stuff in on you know, days that we're not cutting grass. But these yards are drying up so bad. I mean, next week, I don't even know if we're gonna have any grass to cut. It might be a totally backwards week next week. And you know, you never know, man. I haven't faced this in some years, and of course, you know, I'm probably a little, because of the unknown. I'm probably a little more overzealous than what some people might be. You know, about the things that I can't control. So, haven't had this issue in years. I can't remember, like 2016 or something like that. So, it'll pass. Don't worry, all you guys that are out here with me. You know, I know that if you're from around here, dude, you're catching hell right now. And the future is looking bleak. Don't spend your money on nothing dumb, for sure. Gotta hold up a dollar, man. Hold up a dollar. But this is when you find out what you're made of right here, y'all. This is when you find out, you know, where you stack up. You know, against other landscapers, lawn guys, or whatever you want to call it. This is where you find out everything that you need to find out. Are you going to be able to stay in business? You know, if we have a month-long drought, a lot of guys can't even, you know, they're going to be looking crazy. For me, it ain't going to be good, but I will survive. But there was a time when a month-long drought would really break the bank. You know, I don't expect, you know, guys that first starting out to be thinking like I'm thinking. But you gotta hold on, man. And sometimes, you know, chasing that money is costing you more if you're not doing all the yards than what it's worth. Even though, and I know a lot of young guys, well, man, I gotta get some money. I gotta get some money. I gotta get some money. You know, and that's how I was. You couldn't tell me nothing. I just knew I needed to make money every day. But as I've gotten older and more established in the business, you know, it's definitely, I don't know, it's more, I'm more at ease, I guess. Because I know what I am, who I am. I know what my business is and who my business is. And I know that, like I said this morning, you know, we're doing everything that we can. And you can only, that's all you can do. But at the end of the day, you got to have money to survive. Because over the years, I've rat holed money on the daily. So, and I don't have a lot of equipment payments and stuff. All my stuff, most of my stuff's paid for. You know, what, skid steer? And I think I got a $210 mower payment. We're not gonna work tomorrow. I'm gonna, we work Sunday, so we'll be off tomorrow. Now, if we had rain, regular rain like normal, then we would work tomorrow. You know, that's just that, but we don't, so we ain't. All right, y'all. Deuces. Be safe.